Hello everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Indexer Office Hours. Today is the 17th of October, and this is Indexer Office Hours 129. If anyone is new to Indexer Office Hours, this is the town square for graph ecosystem participants to come together and discuss the most important and relevant topics for indexers. This is a conversation. We love participation. So at any point in today's conversation, if you'd like to get involved, please do via unmuting your mic or by contributing in the text box in the corner. If you're having any issues with your mic, let me know and I can try to get that sorted for you. Thank you very much, Juan, for posting the agenda there. Much appreciated. And with that, let's get into today's agenda. So let's have a look right now. Opening remarks. So as always, I give a shout out to the latest GRT IQ episode, and today's no different. So we have GRT podcast episode 138 with Isaac Prada, and Isaac is the Director of Communications and Project Management at Radiant Capital. And for those of you who don't know what Radiant Capital is, again, thank you so much, Juan, for posting the episode. Radiant Capital is facilitating cross-chain lending and borrowing. They are trying to build a protocol that allows you to, borrow money on one chain and then swap on another chain and build this effectively omni-chain money market. And a little bit about Isaac. He spoke a bit about his journey, his background, his university years that led him to compete in the world of Formula One, which is quite interesting, and then transitioning to more of a corporate career with Airbus, and then finally getting into the Web3 space with Radiant Capital. So if you're interested in that, his background, his story, and also how they use the graph, go do check out that particular episode. And with that, let's get into the next section, which is our regularly scheduled Repo Watch section. So Anna, feel free to take it away.
Thank you, Abel, and hello everyone. So today on Repo Watch, we have had quite a few releases. So starting with execution layer clients, we have had 3 new releases on Aragon, starting with the earliest one, that is 2.50.2.0, which has a few changes, including the BOR RPC config fix, and it fixes Buddy's corrupted output. Then we have 2.52.4, which has increases the DB limit for memDB from 500 megabytes to 500 gigabytes. And finally, we have 2.52.5, which fixes the newly broadcast blocks to include transactions. Then we also have 2 new releases of Get. This is version 1.13.3, which is a scheduled maintenance release with small additions and an important PebbleDB fix. And then version 1.13.4, which is a non-urgent hotfix release. Basically, the previous release introduced a lot of logs for bad transaction announcements, and it generates too much logging. And as such, they have reduced the logging in this version. So that's for Get. For Firehouse ETH, we have 2 new releases. So 1.4.18, which bumps substreams to 1.117, and 1.4.19, which bumps some substreams to 1.1.18 with a regression fix as well. Then on Heimdall, we have had a new release, so 1.02, which addresses some minor fixes encountered with the previous version and implements some new small features. Moving on to consensus layer client, here we have a release from Prism 4.10, and it mainly adds fundamental DNAB support, so the DNAB upgrade. But it's missing some features such as backward syncing and file system-based blob storage that are planned for Q4 next year. We have also had a new release from Teku 23.10.0. This is an optional release with some bug fixes and performance improvements. and the new release for Nimbus, so 23.10.0, which is a low urgency upgrade that focuses on stability and performance improvements that relate directly to networks with a large number of validators, such as whole scheme testnet. On GraphStack, we only have a new release from Subgraph Radio. This is 018. This adds Waku Discovery Network ENR to bootstrapping nodes and removes local POIs to compare, and refactors diverged subgraphs. And that's all I have for this week. So if there are no comments or questions, I will hand over to Juan.
Sounds good. Oh.
Just quickly checking Vince's comment on indexer 023. Does anyone find the suggested options of max block distance a little bit optimistic for Arbitrum? I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head. Haven't. I will double check our config and comment here while Juan does his protocol watch.
Sounds good. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yep, loud and clear.
Awesome, cool. So getting into Protocol Watch, we have, first of all, as always, forum governance. We have quite a few topics to cover here. We have decimal smart chain integration. There was an update there regarding the requirements to run the node. I think it's a little bit more explicit now. They've been blocked basically because they were actually running their archive node, I think, for the first time, according to this thread. So I hope they will be adding a little bit more context regarding how to actually run this particular node. So yeah, stay focused, stay alert for that one. Next up, we have JP58. I mean, 58 has been a staple of debate for a while. It's replacing bonding groups with indexing fees. There's still a lot of debate going on. Again, there has been a little bit more information on how Horizon, I think, works, described by Zach, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, if you're interested in particularly JP58 and all of the discussion regarding Horizon and the actual change of the bonding curves towards indexing fees and all of that entails, all of this change, please just follow that topic in particular. It's way too long to cover here in IOH, unfortunately, unless we just dedicate a whole set of episodes for it. But at least if you're aware of it, it's good enough, I guess. Next up, we have JP52, which is timeline and requirements to increase rewards in L2. Of course, we know that we are currently at 50%, and there's a new ETA, as far as I'm aware, for the 95%, which I think it's November 27th. But basically, Pablo mentioned that he updated the GitHub repo to reflect these changes, as well as reflect the actual dates when the 25 and 50% increases were done, so that the current ETAs plus the previous ETAs are fixed. Next up, we have a new GAP, I think, which is GAP62. This GAP was covered by Ariel a few weeks ago in IOH, which is basically removing delegation parameters cooldown. I think it's basically cooldown blocks. I think many of us know that that feature wasn't used very often. So removing it, or basically setting it to always be 0, makes the most sense. Because it was also needed to fix one of the edge cases that happened in Arbitrum, and since no one's using it, also allows us to simplify a little bit how the protocol works. So that's another GAP. Then we have add support to Meter Network. Meter Network's support has been put on hold, I think, because of a few issues that they're config sorting, according to Pedro. Next up, we have GP61, which is the improvements to the GIP process. This was added by Pablo, and he's been updating the thread since to reflect all of the changes. And then we have add support for Optimism mainnet, which I think we probably already covered this because it was a week ago, but it's basically, again, Optimism mainnet has been slightly supported during MIPS, but it had to be put on hold because of an upgrade. and they're coming back to add this support, which is going to be most likely a pretty easy process through the chain integration process, given that it's pretty much almost done because of all of the MIPS work. So yay. Next up, we have forum research, or rather, we don't have forum research because there's no new updates in 𝗨𝘀. For the contracts repository, we do have a small update, which is a new open PR for 𝗨𝘀𝗂𝗧 testnet. This is because I think the Arbitrum team is now also going to be using 𝗨𝘂𝗧, and if I'm not mistaken, also deprecating 𝗨𝘀 and Arbitrum 𝗨𝘀 in favor of 𝗨𝘂𝗧. So we're starting working on setting up the testnet for 𝗨𝘂𝘂. Next up, network subgraphs. There are no new releases, although it's worth noting that there's one release that's going to be coming relatively soon for the core network subgraph that might be worth mentioning, which is the file data sources refactor. This is also included for the analytics one. And what it does is, I don't know if you recall, but the subgraph itself, at least the version that the Explorer uses, is not the same one that's deployed to the network, or the same one that oftentimes indexer synced. Because for indexers, the version that's used by the Explorer is not ideal, as it uses IPFS files. And as far as I'm aware, in order to be able to index subgraphs with IPFS files, you need to set up a few things in your infrastructure. The idea of file data sources is that it becomes deterministic to the network and still gets the IPFS files. So we're basically allowed to merge both the no IPFS and IPFS deployments into a single one which has IPFS data but still deterministic for the network and usable for indexers, as well as it could receive indexing rewards. So it could be finally transitioned into the network and potentially have the Explorer use the network as their main source of queries. So that's going to be amazing. And yeah, that's pretty much all for ProtocolWatch. I'm going to hand it over to Evan now.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Juan. And just to follow up on a few things that you just said there. So as it relates to Meteor Network and all of the other folks who are proposing their chains to be indexed, I am planning on bringing them onto IOH to kind of make the case for their chain to be indexed, as well as obviously writing the forum as to how to run the node in their network, etc., etc. I think it'd be a good opportunity for those folks who are proposing their chains to kind of get in touch with us here at the index community and kind of convince us as to why we should index their chain, etc., etc. Cool. And
totally agree. Yeah.
Sorry?
No, I mean, totally agree, and it also allows them to be exposed to the indexer community and also have a few questions from the indexer community, most likely regarding like the specifics of how to run those nodes. So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. I think it makes so much sense. Yeah, I totally agree. Cool. And then on the horizon point, we're in the works. So we have an episode in the works. I'm just kind of coordinating with the relevant folks to make sure that we bring that about. I've been kind of trying to pull that conversation along for the past God knows how long now. But as you can imagine, it's a massive change to the network, and there's a lot of complexity there. So a lot of things that need to be finalized before we bring this topic to IOH. But rest assured, there's going to be a lot of conversation about Horizon in the coming weeks, hopefully. So yeah, I'm very excited for that. Cool. Okay, so now I would like to introduce a fun new section where we have folks who are being proposed for the technical advisory board. So maybe it might be worth posting the actual forum post for those who aren't aware. But effectively, the graph is putting together a technical advisory board. Let me just quickly grab the link so that everyone can have access to it. There we go. Boom. There it is. So that's the post that basically outlines the initiative around the technical advisory board. And we actually have a few nominees amongst us, which is pretty exciting. So I want to give these nominees an opportunity to say a few words about their nomination to support their case. Many have How many slots are available for the? I don't believe there are. 5 slots. 5 slots. That's it. 5 slots. Yeah. So there are 5 slots in total. But there's tons of people who are nominating themselves, and other people are nominating them. So if you think that you'd be someone who's interesting, relevant, you could add some unique value to the technical advisory board, please do put yourself down, or maybe have someone nominate you. So I would first like to introduce Derek from Data Nexus, someone who is certainly no stranger to IOH. He's a very active participant, and not only in IOH, but just in general in the ecosystem, a very valued member. So if you'd like to make your political campaign known, feel free, Derek from Data Nexus.
I think you just made it for me. I appreciate that. Definitely interested in participating in this. I feel like I'd be able to provide a good lens, because we've held all roles in the network between starting with curation and delegation. Getting our indexer spun up. I helped form the Advocates DAO. I was actually the director for the Advocates DAO for a long time. Then I stepped down from that to help get the Builders DAO up and running. And so I think having that wide scope across the network gives us a really good lens to provide support and just see how all network actors are being affected by various upgrades and programs and things like that. So that's why you should vote for Derek. I don't think there's a voting process. I think that the council reviews all the applications, but that is my case for joining the board.
Wonderful, and I think you would make a fantastic board member. Awesome. We also have another person here who is being nominated for the technical advisory board, and that person is 𝗨𝗂𝗪. Again, someone who is a very active participant in the ecosystem. So, 𝗨𝗪𝗪, if you want to make your case, feel free to make your political case known.
So I'm 𝗨𝗪𝗪, co-founder of 𝗨𝗪𝗪𝗀. So, I mean, we have been, I have been, like associated with Graph for very beginning from 2019, where I started with some development subgraph, and also I won one of the first hackathon organized by Graph protocol 𝗨𝘀𝗧𝗪. At that time, Graph was not that big, so started the journey from there, and we are also a mainnet indexer. We are live on both Ethereum, Arbitrum. We are also active member of Builders DAO, where we are helping uh, helping delegators, curators on Discord, Telegram, different ways through documentation, through blogs, through dashboards. And we are also I'm also Graph Protocol grantee multiple times for different solutions. Uh, we are so 𝗨𝗪𝗪𝗀 itself. We have been building a lot of analytics solution uh, uh, on top of subgraph. So let's say if you have a subgraph and you want to build no-code dashboards in just minutes, you can use Graph Looker, you can use 𝗨𝗪𝗪𝗀 for that. And like you on that, we have been building all kinds of analytics dashboard for Graph protocol. So you'll find all those delegator, curator, indexer, burn dashboards, which are very popular. So I think I have a very good understanding of different stacks of Graph protocol, using the nodes, running the nodes as indexer, as delegator, as subgraph developer, and I'm definitely interested in that. Uh, take our contribution to next level by working closely with core teams. By working closely with indexers and other actors. So would be really can add more value, I think, if get selected. Thank you.
Wonderful. Sorry.
So thanks for that, and that's it from my side. Over to you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I thought you were finished there, so sorry for interrupting. Wonderful. So we also have Mark Andre and also Juan. But as you've seen, Juan has dropped off, and he's going to come back next week to make his case. And Mark Andre will be doing that also later in today's call. Actually, Mark Andre, are you good to do it now? I'm not sure. You mentioned halfway through the call. Are you ready? Okay, feel free to go ahead then.
Oh, hello. So yeah, my name is Marc-André. I submitted my candidacy for the technical advisory board for today. So as you all know, I run the 𝗨𝗪𝗂 indexer. So I'm very, very interested to everything that touches the graph. I really want to um, give my opinion and my advice whenever it's possible. I have some some long experience in the space. I've been working full time in Web3 blockchain for 4 years now. And before that, I was spending all my free time learning and discovering that stuff. So I feel like I have some experience I could bring to the board. Um, so as you all know as well, the graph is considering some major changes in the next months of years. Of course, there are new chains, new data services. Sorry, I'm walking outside, so might be a little short of breath. And there's also some tokenomics exchanges that are being considered. So that's a lot. The council has been doing a great job, but I think they need some additional help going through all these changes. So I'll be glad to hopefully have a chance to give direct advice and opinions on these matters.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I realized I didn't give you a short intro there, but as many of you already know, no need for an introduction. Marc Andre is a very active member in the community. Basically is here for almost all calls, and has been doing some fantastic work in the index community for many, many years now. So yeah, thank you so much for saying a few words for your nomination. As you can see, most people actually everyone who has been nominated in this for this technical advisory board is very qualified and would be a massive addition to the board. So just thought it would be a good idea to have everyone's voice be heard, and kind of make their case. So thank you all for doing that. Okay, so we've had a very busy week. There's a lot going on. So we have a little bit of a lighter session today. So we're going to transition now into the open discussion part of the call. And so if there are any sort of questions, thoughts, topics that people want to cover in any direction, this is the perfect opportunity to do so. Just a reminder, everyone in here is either an indexer or indexer curious. So it'd be a great opportunity to ask questions to your fellow community members or bring up topics that you think are worth discussing. So yeah, either via voice or text, any questions, thoughts, topics that people want to cover, let's go for it. No thoughts, questions, topics, anything anyone wants to discuss about anything really that's been going on in the ecosystem? Any questions they have, any troubles they're having? It's a great opportunity. So if anyone has anything, far away. I see Vince is typing.
Yeah, I have a question regarding Substream. So I'm not sure if anyone in the Substream team is here. What is the plan for supporting Cello network for Substream?
That is a great question. We usually have Mike. Oh yeah, okay. Derek seems like he has some thoughts there. I'll feel free to comment to that. Seems like it's a yes, but if you want to add anything, feel free to. That was in response to Vince's question. Okay, cool. Yes, so not to put Jonathan on the spot, but he's part of PinX, and I know that PinX is highly involved in the subshoes world, and I'm not sure if there's any comments there. Feel free to fire away if there is. If not, then I can circle back on this topic once I've reached out to get a response from Michael. Yeah, seller support. Yeah. I will. I'll try and find out, or an ETA. Yeah, I'll try and find out information, Abhay, on that, and get back to you. Because yeah, we were a little bit light today due to a lot of things happening in the ecosystem in this week. Okay. So yeah, I'll get back to you on that. And then in the meantime, I see that Vince has asked the questions. Has anyone played with Arweave yet? Seems like a few people have. And there's some conversation going back and forth. Let's see. Seems like Derek's asked the question if anyone in here is testing. Is this Arweave that you're referring to, Derek? Just for clarification. Got it. That's in relation to GraphNode. Got it. Oh, very cool. Thanks for sharing, Derek. Any thoughts on the question Derek's just asked in the chat box? Okay, it seems like Marc-Andre is going to do it soon, and Derek is going to give it a test on the testnet. I have a super random builder's DAO item that may be of interest. Yeah, sure, fire away, Derek. Yes, that is a big request that I often hear too as well. Loving the banter in the chat. Is there something you want to bring up in particular with this substream, Derek?
Yeah, I mean, I guess just once we have our release candidate ready to go, I'll pass around the QM because it's probably going to be a longer one to sync. But because it's using substreams, you can parallelize the crap out of it. And the way it's designed is actually really cool because it's not tracking all the transfer events in the way that a subgraph normally would. Instead, we're just querying the exact storage slot of the balances of specific accounts. And so it should be very easy to send multiple workers through. And if you want to get to the chain head really quickly, this might be a fun one to test it on.
Well, there you go. Thank you so much, Derek, for bringing that up. That's something to chew on for folks in the call if you're interested in doing so. Anyone have any particular thoughts on what was just discussed? Any questions? I see 𝗨𝗂𝗂𝗧 is typing. Sweet. Seems like the question's been answered. If there's any additional, I saw you were typing 𝗨𝗂𝗧, so if there's any additional things you'd like to ask, feel free to add some additional context or follow up? Also, considering today is a light session, we also welcome to wrap a little bit earlier if there's not that much folks want to cover, because it's a lot going on in the ecosystem at the moment, and folks are a bit busy. So yeah, we've got one of these open sessions again. So seems like 𝗨𝗂𝗂𝗧 said we'll check the code and dig deeper. Sounds good. I'll leave you to do that. And I guess I'll do a final call. If anyone has any thoughts, questions, ideas, topics that they'd like to cover. And if not, we can, of course, wrap today's session a little bit earlier. Alrighty, so I'm gonna judge by the fact that we've got a silence as an indication that oh, we've got Marc-Andre typing. So maybe there's a final thing we'd like to cover. I'll just give him some time. Wonderful. Thank you for the comment there. Cool. Well, I'll take this opportunity to say thank you to everyone for joining today's session. I'm very much looking forward to the assembly of the technical advisory board. So thanks to all who gave their political campaign messages. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, looking forward to getting back on the road next week for another edition of Index Office Hours. Hopefully we will have less of a busy week in the graph ecosystem so that we can bring you some more interesting topics to discuss. So yeah, thank you everyone, and we look forward to seeing you all again same time next week. Take care everyone. Bye bye.